What's up guys? In this video I want to show you 4 crucial steps to take your render to the next level. I hope you can take something for yourself with this breakdown and improve your 3D work. Let's jump right into it. The first and foremost tip is definitely fog. This is probably quite obvious, but it always does its job. Already by taking a volume cube you can achieve much more depth and realism. So, as I said, we only need this volume cube, so a big cube around all of your scene. Then give it a material, and this is just a volume scatter node. Plug it inside of the volume, add a very low number inside of the density, and that's it. And I think you can easily see why it is such a good idea to add a volume cube to your scene. It instantly adds more depth. But we can already take this one step further and add some animated mist as well. So I just added those 2 planes, one right in front of the camera and the other one more in the background. Yeah, just give it this node setup. So we only need a gradient texture with some mapping coordinates, multiply it with a noise texture, then separate it in the X direction. So the fog only goes in X direction, and then add this value node and just type in frame/minus and then a number you have to figure out for yourself. Yeah, that's quite easy as well. Just copy this node setup. I think if it fits your scene, animated mist is a great idea to take this foggy atmosphere even one step further. Plus it already brings some life to your environment. And this takes me to the next point. Bring life to your scene. We already started this with the fog and the mist, but we want to take this even one step further as it will upgrade everything in your artwork. For example, add wind to your plants and the cloth of your character, makes your work way more interesting and eye-pleasuring. And that's exactly what I did here. The first step was adding some plants, for example those ivy or grass on the ground, and you can do this very easy with the free add-on called G-Scatter, where we can just select, for example, this plane as a ground and then go to the library and just add any plant you see here or buy some new ones. For example, this perennial grass, then just scatter selected. Okay. And now we have this in our menu, and we can just adjust the distribution and the scale and everything else, or add an effect layer, for example a weight mask, where we can weight paint where those plants grow. Yeah, and this is, as I said, very easy to do. So yeah, this is one of my favorite add-ons when it comes to scattering plants and stuff for environment design. And you also have this option under the rotation tab to add a wind effect. And you can just select it and play around with the speed and the strength and everything else. So this is a very simple method to add wind to our scene. And then for the character, I just gave this character a cloak, did some cloth simulation, added the wind, you can see this here. As well, I played around with the strength and everything. And now just by adding some wind, we have some life in our environment, which makes everything way more realistic. The next point is lighting. To be more clear, additional lights to point things out. Lighting is always one of the key parts of 3D work. You can turn a piece of shit into gold with the right lighting technique. For environmental design, you're on a good way if you use HDR eyes and the directional light as a sun. But by adding additional lights on chosen spots, you make your work pop out even more, so spend time to find the right lighting. And that's exactly what I did here. As you can see, I used this Blue Grotto HDR from Polyheaven as a main lighting source for the scene. And then to get this effect I just told you about, I added additional area lights to get rim lights on the characters and the pillars and everything, to intensify the rim light on the objects and the characters and just make the light in general more interesting. So what I did, just to make it more clear, for example, I added a over the shoulder area light to give this character a rim light. Then I did as well, I parented another light to this character to give him a rim light as well. And then I placed another big area light behind this archer just to make some edges more visible. Just place some area lights on chosen spots to intensify your light work. I think if we have a look on the before and after, everything gets clear right now. You just get some nice looking, interesting highlights. For example, here on the shoulder and the sword, and then here on the edges of the stairs, and this archer just looks more interesting in general. So my next and final point is some camera work. In most cases, it's a good idea to enable depth of field to direct the viewer's gaze in a targeted manner. Additionally, it gives your scene even more realism and cinematic feeling, because sometimes it's good to have some unsharp areas, because what we not see clear hires the curiosity of the viewer. So take your foreground out of focus and target it to the main object of interest. And that's exactly what I did here. I went to the camera settings, just enabled depth of field and selected a focus object. You can also go without the focus object and adjust the distance of the depth of field manually. Just play around and find it out for yourself what the best setting is here for your specific scene. But it's just makes a lot of difference if you have an unsharp fore or and background. Yeah, that's it guys. I hope you learned something out of it and take your future artworks to the next level. There's more to come. I just started this YouTube journey with this video. So I would highly appreciate if you leave me a follow. See you in the next one.